I'm Michael.
And welcome to Uplift Stitches. We are a married couple, and this channel is a place where we mostly talk about cross stitch.
But sometimes we also talk about games.
That's right, and our lives and the things that bring us joy.
Yeah. So, welcome if you're new here. Today is Sunday, is it May 4th? May the 4th?
I think that's why you're wearing that shirt.
It is why I'm wearing the shirt. It's also something I'm going to talk about in the cross stitch section. But yes, it is May the 4th, and this is Flosstube number 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the 20s already. Hard to believe. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you again. We hope that you're well.
Yeah, we're well and had a good April. We certainly had a nice April, I think.
Yeah. If you're new here, welcome and hello. We're so glad that you decided to spend some time with us today.
Yeah, and if you like what you see, please hit the like button and subscribe and all those fun things. And yeah, we have a lot of cross stitch to talk about this month.
We do. We did some stitching in April.
We did quite a bit of stitching. More than I'm used to stitching, so I have, and I have all kinds of plans to talk about for my stitching. So
okay.
They just come up, and I keep adding to the list. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of plans. I guess we usually start with talk about life a little bit. Yeah. If you're new here, and just to kind of, we have a lot of family and friends that watch to kind of keep up on our lives. So we usually start with that. But if you want to skip ahead to the cross stitch, we do have chapters you can use below to skip ahead. So what has happened over the last month?
I feel like we had a pretty busy April.
It felt very busy. I mean, yeah. I know I had some workshops at work that I did this month.
That kept you pretty busy. Also, the final for your course.
The final for my course, which is finally done. I finished the course, and I have a few weeks break before the next one starts. I have taken a summer course, so. But we also had Easter in the middle there, which also was pretty busy.
It was pretty laid back for us. We spent one day at my parents' just hanging out, and
day with
another
my family. Mom. We had some brunch, so it was good brunch, and it was a nice Easter. The weather was pretty decent, and we did some landscaping this month.
Yeah, spring is fully here.
Yes, it's been in the weather range that I really like, which is like the 60s and 70s mostly. It did hit 80s some days, but mostly it's been pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we had some landscaping that we got done like a year after we moved in.
About a year, yeah.
And now 2 years later from that, it sort of needs a little bit of...
Needs some work. We're putting some underlayment down. Getting some more mulch to put on top because it's kind of broken down a little bit.
Yeah. So. There were things that we kind of missed last year with me being sick and just never got around to it. So it kind of got a little bit overgrown and out of control. So we're taking care of that this year.
Yeah. So that was part of this month's plans. Yeah. We had a start of a new D&D campaign, which was exciting.
Yeah, instead of a game day with our friends, one of our friends decided she wanted to
do a campaign, a D&D campaign as the dungeon master, and she's doing it's basically a Harry Potter-esque.
It's a magical college.
It's a magical college that we're going.
But not everyone is magical.
Correct. So it was a fun. We kind of introduced all the characters together, and we had kind of fun going through a sort of trial to try to get into the college. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We had tacos. It was really good food, so it was nice. It was nice to start a new campaign. I've been missing playing it. So and the Pretzel Day was also this month, which I'll talk a little bit about in cross.
It was the same day as the D&D.
It was the same exact day as the D&D. So I ended up playing D&D and got home and started the cross stitch. We'll talk about that when we get into cross stitch. But that was all I had remembered as far as, there was a lot of busy stuff, but
yeah, just a lot of life stuff. And I also spent some time cleaning off the back porch so that we can start enjoying that now that the weather's nice.
Did you have a Zoom this month? I thought you maybe had.
Yeah, I did. Did I have two?
Maybe you had two.
I don't know. I hung out with some people. We stitched. It was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's always so enjoyable to spend time with people.
Yeah. So it was a busy month, and
then my parents were here this weekend. So.
Yeah, your parents were here this weekend.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. We just kind of barbecued.
We played games. We stitched. We watched some TV.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyler Moore and other stuff.
It was nice. It was a relaxing weekend. We enjoyed our time together.
It was a good relaxing weekend. So, and then now let's get ready to head into May.
I know. May's going to be even busier.
It seems like I always think I have all this time, and then the weekends fill up very quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's the same for everybody. But so I guess we can move on to cross.
But overall, we're good.
Yeah. We're doing pretty good health wise.
Yeah. So we're trying our best to take care of ourselves and one another, and
same as anybody can do, right?
Yeah.
So all these wonderful times. So cross stitching, right?
Yeah.
So we have some FFOs to share.
We do have some FFOs. I spent a little FFO.
Even I have an FFO, although you helped me with a little bit.
I did,
but and I have a couple other finishes, and so do we want to start with FFOs?
Let's start.
Okay, so do we want to start with FFOs?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. All right. So I have one FFO.
I have 3.
So do you want to do one of yours, and I can do mine, and then do 2 yours?
Yeah, that's fine.
Something like that.
Well, I'll do 2 because
okay.
I have 2 that are older, and then 1 that is fresher.
Okay.
So I went through the bin and pulled out 2 things to fully finish that I had previously finished. One of those is Flowers for Sylvia by Dee at Dees 20 Stitches. I'm angling this because I have glass in here, so you can hopefully see it okay. Michael's had a sale on their tabletop frames this last week, so when I went there, I picked up this frame because I thought the purple was just going to be perfect with this piece. This is a piece that honors trans activist Sylvia Rivera, and the quote says, "We are not ashamed of who we are." I started and finished this piece last year in the summertime, and I just really, this week and last week, was really feeling like I wanted to fully finish this and have this up in my craft room. So now it's done.
Yay.
I know, and I love it. So I'm very excited about that. The other older piece that I fully finished this month is my 3 Little Words series by Lizzie Kate. And I did a bell pull finish on this. This is my first time doing a bell pull finish. I followed a blog tutorial. Jessica from Jed X Stitch had shown, she had done some bell pull finishes of her own designs, Jed X Stitch. And she had linked a blog that she followed in order to do her bell pull finishes. So I followed that link and read up how to do it. And it was really easy. I'll put it in our description box for this video, but this is how it turned out.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah, I had purchased the finishing pieces, the top and bottom, when we were at Celia Samplers in Branson, Missouri. And then I had a half a yard of this fabric that I thought kind of went with it. And it was a nice long piece so that it could fit the entire thing. But yeah, I love how this turned out. I did all of the pieces of the Lizzie Kate 3 Little Words series, plus the one at the bottom I think was a freebie that's available on the website. And also the border was available on the website.
Do you know where you're going to hang it?
Yeah, I have it hanging here in the craft room already. It's already got a spot. I stitched this on 18 count Almond Aida by my Vintage Needle Arts, and I used, I think, the recommended DMC. Which reminds me, I didn't talk about this one. Flowers for Sylvia. I stitched on a piece, it was a mystery grab bag fabric from Colour&Cotton, and I used 2 strands, so it must be close to a 32 or 28 count, and I used all the called for threads on that. So those were 2 things out of the drawer of potential.
2 things. Well, this one was not in the drawer of potential. I don't think it made it in there because this was a start and a finish and a fully finished.
Yeah, and I had stitched that back in 2021. I started to finish it in 2021. So now it's fully finished. It's exciting.
Nice. So let's see. I guess I can show the actual pattern. This is what so I can not get the glare. So this is the pattern for my Pretzel Day stitch. It's the Office. I'm sure those of you who've seen the Office will recognize and remember Pretzel Day from the Office. That was the pattern. It was a pattern by Innovative Design, so I don't think it was any particular designer that I know.
Yeah.
But so that was that, and I did change the colors. So this was the actual finish. So I think it turned out really good. I changed the color of the pretzels because this is the colors I use, which is 301 and 434 DMCs, and this was the colors they had for the pretzels, which to me didn't quite work as a pretzel. So I think it was intended to go with this frame. This was the hoop they intended. It's such a big hoop, which I don't think would have looked good anyway.
Yeah, the design is so small compared to the hoop.
So Mel had found this one.
Yeah, this was another frame that I got in Michael's this past week with their tabletop frame sale.
And it looks really great. I mean, it's in our kitchen right now, sitting down, but this was my Pretzel Day stitch, and this is on just a printed fabric that came with the kit, and it's stitched 2/1.
Yeah, I think this is the first time you've done a design where it's printed on the pattern is actually printed on there. It's not there's not a paper pattern.
Yeah, this was the very first one I've ever done like that. I know that was popular for a while in, I guess, the 90s. I know there's probably still some that do, maybe, but...
And it was really set up as a beginner kit. There was a needle and...
There was a needle. Everything I needed was in the kit. This was a gift from Kit and Steph. So I got it started and finished. I didn't finish it that day. I started that day, but it stitched really quickly. I'm really happy with how it turned out. This was for the I Spy, which is a challenge that Laura does on Stitching by the Shore, and this was shaped like a pretzel. Which I don't think you get much more shaped like a pretzel. So I was really happy with how that one turned out. So yeah, it was nice to have a fully finished object. Wasn't sure what kind of frame I was going to find. I looked at the hoop and I was like, well, she can help me finish it there. And she had this wonderful frame. So yeah, that was my FFO. So yeah, it was exciting. And I know at least a few people joined me with it.
A few people tagged in that they joined in on the pretzel stitching. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. I'm excited to see what everybody is stitching. I know Laura Stitching by the Shore did a gnome with a pretzel. Which was
and someone else did a Mill Hill kit.
A Mill Hill kit that I have the Mill Hill kit. I didn't end up doing that one, but I'll probably do that in the future at some point. So that was my FO. You have one more FFO,
Yep,
right?
My other one was a start and finish. This is a piece that I started. This was one of the virtual stitchy get-togethers that I did this month. Laura from Stitching by the Shore hosted a... it's from the Max Pigeon book.
I have the Max Pigeon book, as a matter of fact, because that's some of the projects I stitched.
Yeah, I forgot to grab it.
So there
it's a piece from the Cross Stitch in the Forest by Max Pigeon. And I'm not going to bother rifling through to show it to you because it's fully finished.
Yeah.
But the pattern is called Heron at Dawn. And here's my finish. So as I said, Laura from Stitching by the Shore showed this in one of her videos at the end of the month and said that she was thinking about starting it. And I said, well, I'll join you. And then several other people said, well, I'll join you. So we all kind of got together virtually and started it together. I stitched mine on a 20 count Denim Aida by My Vintage Needle Arts, and I used all the called for threads. And this was another one of those tabletop frames that I got at Michael's last week. It's a little bit blendy with the blue, but I really like the scallops on it. It kind of reminds me of
the scallops look really cool.
The ripples of the water. Yeah, but it's just such a beautiful design. And I'm so excited with how it turned out. And it was an enjoyable stitch. And now I have the memory of all those wonderful friends that I stitched it with to go along with it as I look at it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like almost all those patterns.
Yeah, so that was my start, finish, fully finish for the month.
Okay, so that's all of our FFOs.
Yeah.
And then now we have some finishes.
Yeah, I have 2.
And I also have 2.
All right, why don't you go first?
I go first? Okay. So let's see, which one do I want to start with? I guess I'll start with this one. So this one is a 90s Microsoft Clippy. So let's see if I can get it in here. This was part of one of the I Spy at the Something Silly, and it's also I consider him a mythical creature. So I think that counts. Laura can let me know if that's stretching it a little too much, but. So this was a pattern I found by Stab Happy Stitchers on Etsy. And this is on an 18 count blue Rami's Creations Aida. I didn't really have a name. It's like a one-time off. And I'm doing it 1/1 with the called for DMCs. So this one was a very quick stitch. I enjoyed stitching them. Kind of a little bit back. I mean, I thought about stitching this one because we were talking about him. We talk about a lot at work when I'm online. We have a little stitchy motif or GIFs that we post randomly at times because we have a lot of nostalgia for him. So this is what made me think, well, is there any any patterns? There's actually a lot of clippy cross stitch patterns.
Oh boy.
So there may be future clippies that I stitch, but this was one that looked fun. So it just says appears you're trying to cross stitch. So that was a fun one. There's a little fun pattern, didn't take very long to stitch. I don't know how I'm gonna finish it. It might be an ornament, it could be a magnet.
Yeah, I had bought a frame to try to put it in, but it's too thick around the outside, so it takes away from the design.
Yeah, so I could make it into a magnet maybe, or I can I can even do an ornament maybe or something like that. So haven't figured it out. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But trying to figure out, it's a really tiny, so it would be a good ornament.
Yeah.
So that was one of my finishes.
All right. One of my finishes is from the Cross Stitch for the Soul book by Emma Congdon.
It's a good book.
This was a piece that I started with our friend Karen, the Stitching Owl. We had done a little stitchy Zoom, the three of us together, and she wanted to start a piece in celebration of my birthday. That was also from Emma Congdon. Hers says something about rain and flowers. It's not from this book, but it's very pretty. And yeah, but I finished the piece that I started that day. It doesn't have a name because the designs in her books don't have names, but this is what it looks like. And it says, "Bloom where you are planted." I stitched this on 28 count Celestine by Colour&Cotton, and it's much lighter than it's showing up. Yeah, it's really bright.
Yeah, it's
blue.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but I used the Call for Threads, and I just love how it turned out. It's so bright and springy. I had a hard time putting it down just because I was enjoying it so much. So I did get a hoop to finish this in. I got this when I was at Michael's too. So I think that'll be good. Oh, yeah. And I got some paint to paint the wood. That's on the outside. It's like a rubber. It's like plastic. It's not really wood. But I think that, yeah, I got a bluish color that's similar to... I got it. Falling. That's similar to the blue in the words there. So I think that'll... Yeah, I think that'll look really nice. Yeah. So I'll probably fully finish that this month, and you'll see it next time.
Yeah, this one here, this one probably won't be fully finished for a while because I'm probably going to do all of them before I fully finishing them so I can get them all going the same. This is in my, by Al Force and Brody, the 12-month sale they have going on that's free. So this one is February. I did finally finish it. I had quite a bit of it finished, but I had finished the skaters down this last time, and I finished off the snowman in the center. So and then there's a tiny bit of back stitching in here, and there's a couple French knots for the eyes that probably look a little crazy-eyed, but I was tired at the time when I finished it. I'm like, you know what? He's going to be a little crazy. So
he's just looking at the snow too much.
He's looking at the snow too much, but I really enjoyed this one. This one was a lot of fun to stitch. So I did mostly the color fours. The blue I did swap out for a different color, which I don't remember what color.
Well, you're using the DMC suggested?
I'm using the DMC suggested except for the blue. The blue didn't quite show really well, the one they had for the suggested DMC, so I swapped that for like a shade or two darker, and it looks a lot better. So so this one is stitched on, what is the fabric? 18 count Spellbound Aida by Needlebling. And there are tiny snowflake motifs for the I Spy, which is the tiny motif was the I Spy for that one. So those have been a lot of fun. I'm now almost 2 months behind.
That's all right.
But I did get a start on March, which I'll show in my starts. But yeah, I've enjoyed. I really like the Al Force and Brody styles. So there'll probably be there's some other patterns that are outside of the 12-month one that I want to start at some point, but haven't had time. Too much to stitch, not enough time.
My other finish was a start and finish. This is Easter Parade by Blackbird Designs. I started this Easter weekend. We were visiting with our families. And I'm doing the rabbit with the flowers, or I did the rabbit with the flowers. And here's how mine looks. It's so good. I stitched this on 36 count Mushroom Light Mocha by Needlebling Designs. And I used, so I think I only had 3 of the called for colors, and the rest I just sort of picked some over-dyed colors and or DMC colors. I did an Instagram post about this, and in that post I took a picture of the colors that I used if you want to know exactly what I used. This has a bunch of eyelet stitches in it, which I really enjoy doing. I enjoy doing the specialty stitches. I love the way that this huge one looks in this star. It's just so cool. Yeah, but I loved every stitch of this. I had a hard time putting it down. That's how it became a finish. Yeah, but I just love how sweet and springy it is with those multicolored tulips. And his little purple backpack.
It was a good Eastery kind of pattern.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about how I want to fully finish it. I might do some sort of stand-up or tile leany thing, or I'm not really sure.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I'm excited to have it finished.
So yeah, I think that's all of our finishes. That's
Yeah.
more finishes than I usually have each month. So
You did a lot of stitching.
I did quite a bit of stitching this last month. So I guess we have some starts, or do we usually put those in with the webs? I don't even know.
We've been doing our starts separate, so starts.
So starts. Do you have any
starts?
I have 2 starts.
Okay, I've got 3.
Okay, you start and then.
All right. So one of my new starts is something that I've talked about in the last couple of videos, and I finally started it, friends. It's Spring Moon by Plum Tree Samplers.
Oh yeah.
I have had this pattern for a couple of years, and
you've talked about starting it a number of times.
I've talked about starting it a number of times, and I finally did it, and I had to start it twice because I started stitching on the moon. And I got about this far, and I realized this fabric is not big enough. No, Melanie. What were you thinking?
Well,
I don't know what my math was.
You saw how pretty it was.
In cutting this.
And you're like,
but
it's a little bit too small.
Then I said, okay, I got more of that fabric.
You can make it work.
Make it work. So, here's how far I got. I'm stitching this on 40 count Sayella by Laura's Fabrics. And I'm stitching it with all the called for colors, 1/2. And I think I might have run into a problem.
Uh-oh.
Can you see the flower that's on there?
No.
Like you can kind of see it
in
person.
You can sort of see it when I look over this way, but on the camera it's not at all visible, hardly.
If I hold it close, you can see it.
Yeah, it blends quite a bit with the darker part of it.
I know. Which originally the cut that I had, it was light over there, so I thought it wasn't going to be a problem.
But on the dark, you can't really.
But I'm running into a problem. So I'm probably going to have to change the color of the flowers. Like all of the flowers are that color. So I don't know if I can get away with just changing a few of them.
I think you could probably just change a few of them, depending on where they stay.
The flower that I'm talking about is this one that's up, kind of floating in the sky. That's the one that I've started and that I realized I might have a problem with. And I haven't worked on it since then. Yeah, so I'm debating what I want to do. How I want to change it.
You could change some. I think you could get away with just changing it.
I might try to work on the leaf. I don't want to stop my progress on this. Yeah. So I might count over to the leaves and start working my way down and then come back to the flowers when I've had more time to think about it. But I don't want to abandon this because of that little frustration.
You can do it.
Which is a temptation for me.
No, don't give in.
Yeah, I really like the way that the moon and stars are looking on this fabric. I kind of left the moon to fill in later because I think that'll be good. Hang out, stitching, work. But I do like the way that those look on this fabric.
Yeah, I think if you just change maybe a few of the flowers.
Yeah, I just need to figure out which tone is going to show up on here. That'll still look good with all the other colors. But
yeah.
I finally started it.
She got it
started it.
So I guess my first one is also the Alforce embroidery. It's not that far along. I didn't get that far along on it, but it is a different color fabric. So this is just the top part of the top border, and we could put in.
I've probably already shown.
You probably already shown the cover sheet, but so this is just the top border. This is the March one, and so. It's got a whole bunch of cats, which are part of the I Spy of a animal that could be a pet, and it's also part of the Stitch Along I Spy. So it kind of falls for both of those, I think. But I'm gonna do all of the springy ones, so March, April, and probably May in this color fabric, which is 18 count Aida. It's a Swigart that was dyed by Mystic Fabrics called Palomino. And I'm just doing it 1/1 with I'll probably keep the blue the same if there's any blues just because to keep it consistent. So that'll just remain the same throughout. But I'm going to do these 3 on this fabric, and then I'll change the color for the fabric for the summer ones and then the fall ones. So
try pulling it back a little bit because it's showing more. Yeah, it was more gray, green up close.
Yeah, it's more of a yellowish. This is more similar to what they actually called for the fabrics. Whereas the other ones, it felt more wintry to me. To do more of a blue gray. I'm gonna have the fabrics mirror the seasons that they're representing, and then my ultimate plan will be to do a magnetic finish, so a magnetic type frame that they fit in, and then have them. I can swap them out of my office for each month. So that was my start for this month. I said it's not that far along yet, but I'll make good progress.
I mean, you only started it this week.
I only started it this week, so yeah, I'll get that. I might get it done this month, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, so that was one of my starts.
Another one of my starts is Gathering Bright Blooms by Robin Pigeon.
I really like this one a lot.
I love this. Oh my gosh. I was so excited. This was kind of on my list of things to get when my mom and I did our little shopping trip. And I actually started this on Earth Day. Our friend Karen did a stitching meetup, and thankfully it was free and I was able to join in on that. And so I started this with a bunch of stitchy friends. And this is how far I got. It's looking pretty good.
It's a beautiful pattern. I love the dark again and the bright colors it's got. It's just...
Yeah, I just love the vibrancy of her designs. Yeah, so on Earth Day, I worked on kind of the border and started doing this first tulip here. And then over the next couple of weeks, I just sort of worked on the rest of it. Once again, I had a hard time putting it down because I was enjoying it so much. I'm stitching this on a 28 count navy. It's a Lugana by Zweigart with all the called for threads. I'm using the DMC. She lists both Cosmo and DMC, and I'm using the DMC. Yeah, so this is the bottom, so it's not going to be real huge. But these colors are also very summery, so I think I might save some of this to do in the summertime.
Yeah, that'd be a good summer stitch.
Yeah, so I love how it's looking.
Yeah, you should.
So good.
It looks great.
So good.
All right, my other one. This is a part of the halfway to Halloween sale that I'm a part of. I don't know. Do you remember who's hosting that? I don't remember who is actually.
It's Jason from Jason.
Jason.
Crossstitch. Jason X Stitch.
Jason X Stitch.
Shoot, Jason. I'll put your name on the screen.
Yeah, put your name on the screen. We'll have it listed below. But I joined that sale, and
yeah.
I mean
we both did, and my mom,
and your mom,
and my dad did an autumn pattern because he didn't have anything Halloween ready to go.
So we're all joining apart, and this was I did a little Instagram question. And most of the people suggested they thought this one would be a great because the other one was like the Halloween Quaker, which a lot of people have been stitching. I love both patterns. I'll be stitching that one this fall probably. So this was this is called, as you can see, I can't even see, Moonlight Pumpkin Carving. So I picked this up on one of our anniversary trips maybe. Or did I pick this up?
I think maybe you got it when we were at Sirious or at Colour&Cotton.
I think this was from Celia's in Branson, I think. But so yeah, this is by Lola Crow. I really like this pattern a lot. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I had to have that one. So, but I'm not doing it on black. I actually decided to swap for this color.
Spooky.
This is kind of a nice red. That deep red color. This one is by it's a 20 count cranberry sauce by Almond Aida, and I'm doing it 1/1 with the call for DMCs, and I just really have the bottom of it right now. But this one's been a lot of fun. It is a little harder to stitch the dark on the dark fabric without a lot of good light. So I did notice that. I don't usually have a lot of problems with the black, but when I'm stitching on black, I have lighter colors I'm stitching, so that could be part of it. But this one's been a lot of fun. I like the way the red is looking. Once I get to the skeleton and get him kind of going, I think it's going to look really great. So yeah, that's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying my halfway to Halloween sale and looking forward to Halloween again this year. I always love fall and Halloween and all that time of year. So, but that's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to see what the other projects that people are doing for the halfway to Halloween in that group. So there's a lot of fun projects. Definitely, it's definitely not too late to start. No. Join us if you want to join too, because if you love Halloween as much as I do. And so you have a halfway to Halloween too.
Yeah, I also had a start this weekend, and that was Bump in the Night by Prairie Schooler. And I'm changing the design a little bit. You won't be able to tell yet. But instead of doing it sort of vertically like this, I'm going to do it long lengthwise. And I'm adding these two on there, these little extra bat and skeleton, and I'm taking out the yikes guy. Because he kind of creeps me out.
He kind of creeps you out.
Nothing else creeps me out.
The kind of yikes guy, huh?
He might haunt my nightmares.
He likes you, though.
But I did more stitching than Michael did this weekend.
She did.
This is how far I got. And I'm just loving it. I'm enjoying every stitch of this. This is on 18 Count Moonstone by Fiber on a Whim. This was one of those ornament cuts I got from Top Knot Stitcher Shop that I showed last month. And it's like this yellowy, gray, green kind of color. So I really love how these colors are showing up. I'm stitching this with the called for DMC colors 1/1.
It looks good.
Yeah, so we got these first little motifs. The word caw down here is sort of filled in a little rectangle. So once again, I thought that would be good.
Yeah, I like it.
Friend stitching. But yeah, so I kind of made a mock-up of how I'm going to do it. But basically this long width will be on this side, and then I'm just kind of doing stacks of motifs.
Yeah, you like put it down, cut it up, and like laid it out, right?
Yeah, I made a photocopy and then cut it up and then arranged it.
I remember you bringing a picture of it and saying,
yeah, I asked Michael what he thought, and he said,
I think it's going to look great. That layout. So
I did, and I'm enjoying it. I had a wonderful time. My mom was also working on a preschooler, so we were stitching with the same colors.
Yeah, and your dad was doing a fall one. I really enjoyed it. I went slower on this one because of the dark on dark. Yeah. It was harder to stitch, but and I was also didn't stitch quite as much as you this week. I played more games, I think, than
and you barbecued.
And I barbecued.
I stitched all during that.
You stitched during while I was barbecuing. So that's all my starts, though, I think.
Yeah.
So moving on to whips or works in progress if you are new into cross stitch and don't know what that stands for. So how many whips do you have?
I have 4.
And I have 5, so I guess I should start then.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one I have is in this book here. It's called The Woodpecker. It's in Woodpecker at Work, I believe it's what it's actually called. And it's in Cross Stitch the Forest. This one I just stitched on an 18 count blue Aida. So I made a lot of progress on this one. So I had finished last time. I had finished kind of like up to about maybe here, and I had like the outline done and like one of the branches. So I finished off the trunk in this time, and then I finished off this lower branch. This is the one I finished. This one I think was done. So the tree is actually finally done. I haven't got started on the. Is that right side up?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right. But there's like I need to start. There's a few leaves that I can do. If you want,
here I'll find a picture.
You can find the picture.
You show it and talk about it.
Yeah. So there's like there's a couple leaves. One that comes down from here. One comes down from this upper branch, and then I can actually start in the middle where you can see where his little foot is going to be. That's where the woodpecker is going to be. So
this is what it's going to look like when it's finished.
Yes, that's what it's going to look like. Thank you for finding it.
So you can see the leaves and
you see the leaves that I'm talking about, and I'm looking forward to getting right into him. I think Karen started with the woodpecker last time because Karen had started with us in one of our Zooms, the Stitching Owl, and she finished hers a lot quicker, but. But I've been enjoying it. He hasn't got as much work as some of my other projects, so I've enjoyed him a lot. So this one, I think I already said that's what the fabric was.
Yeah, you did.
I'm pretty sure. This was part of the Food the Coop sale by Helen D. So
I'm looking for the next one because your next one is also from in here.
My next one is also from in there. It's called Passing Time. I guess I can do both of those together if you want. So my next one is Passing Time. That's what it looks like. I just really like the idea of the same tree just kind of seen over time. This is one of my favorite patterns in the book. So this one I'm doing on, what am I doing this one on? Oops.
I think it's 22 count black.
This is on 22 count black Aida. Yeah. So
but from Swigart.
From Swigart. Oh yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the backdrop. So this is the one I had done. This was the winter one. This was my spring start that I had done. So I got some decent work. I got this other kind of like an orange yellow color is coming in. So you can kind of see the symmetry. I'm not sure. I thought about trying to find a frame that makes it look kind of like a window, and framing it that way to hang in my office. So I do really like this one a lot. Yeah, this was on 22 count black, just a black Aida, and it's one over one with the call for DMCs. So it's a pretty easy stitch. The pattern's pretty consistent. This one has been. This one had a little bit more confetti than this one does
because of the snowflakes.
Because of the snowflakes and that. Whereas this one is pretty consistent and easy enough to stitch on. So, I've been enjoying that one. This one's been a lot of fun. I like his work a lot. I like the way he doesn't always have a lot of colors, and he does a really good job picking the color scheme for a lot of his patterns. So that was those two of my whips. That one did not get quite as much stitching on as some of the other projects as well. I think I spent a lot more time on the Alforest this month than probably than anything.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, the first one I'm going to talk about is The Extraordinary Birds, Sal by Lola Crow. I had started this last time. I think that very weekend I had started it.
I was excited to see you start this one.
And I'm a little behind. But this is how it's looking.
It looks really good on the fabric.
Yeah, I'm stitching this on 28 count Alchemy by Picture This Plus. And I'm using all the called for colors 2/2.
Do me a hole one side.
Yeah, that might help. So I think last time I had done some of this top part of the aviary. So I finished this kind of ornate work and then started carrying it down. I saw, I don't know if it was yesterday or Friday, the designer posted kind of where the first drops are going to be on this. The drops start coming in the middle of May, and they're all down here. So I really need to work on the grass and dirt that's down in here so that I'm ready for when that drop comes. 2 of the drops this month I'm going to be away. I'm going to be out of town for, so I'm probably going to get behind on this in May, so I'm hoping that June will kind of
let you catch up.
I'll be able to catch up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good size frame too. So
this is massive. This is a massive project. But I do love how it looks. There's also 2 birds that go in here that I haven't.
There's an owl and something else.
Yeah, a parrot. Yeah, so this is my progress on this, and hopefully there'll be more progress.
There will be, I'm sure.
When you see it in June.
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and do another, or do you want me?
No, we can go back and forth.
Back and forth, okay. So this next one I've got is a part of my 63 U.S. National Parks project. So this is the one I finished this month, and it's my Badlands. For those of you who are not familiar, I know I talked about this before, but my parks project is going to be, I'm going to do all the parks, and I'm going to add like you've seen this one. I have the date that we actually visited with, and I added a green frame, which is my plan for it. It's the way of.
Oh, they can see the green frame.
Maybe they can't. Now they can see it now with the green frame. Yeah, so that's a lot better. And it did not have numbers, so I kind of made up the number stitching, but in the same style. But I was able to find most of the letters. So I really like these. These are by Stitch and Madness, which is on Etsy, and I did this on 20 count. I don't think it actually had a name, but we got it at the Needlework Gallery. I don't remember that it actually had a name.
It did not have a name. It
did not have a name. So, but I'm using the call for DMCs on this one, doing it 1/1. So this was the 4th one. I think the 4th one that I've done, the Badlands. I can probably open it up and show you the whole pattern. So that's what I have done so far on it. I'm really enjoying these. They're inspiring me to go see national parks. So, and I like to support our national parks, especially nowadays with what's going on. So, I don't think there's actually a salve for this, but if you're interested...
No, I know a few people I think have mentioned on some posts that you've done and on our videos that they're also doing pieces that inspired by national parks or that celebrate national parks that they love.
I think Julian Stitches was one of the ones that was actually mentioned on our video that she was going to be doing it. And this was inspired by Hanneke from the Dutch Stitcher, who's doing a similar project. She's doing like the World Monuments ones, which really look great. That's as soon as I saw those, I was like, I could probably do something like that for the parks. So this is fun. This is a fun way of kind of tracking also what we visited together, because I know both of us have seen some of the parks not together, but I'm not going to count those. So it inspires me to take you to different national parks. So that's been a fun project. I've enjoyed that one a lot. It's going to be a long-term project because I'm only 4 down and there's 59 more to go. So. So that was one of my whips.
Another one is one of my birthday starts from this year. That is Forest Home by the Blue Flower. I mentioned that I wanted to get over to that tree with all the creatures, and I was successful. This is where I'm at on this project. So when I showed it to you last time, I had completed the waterfall, mushrooms, fern, and this tree. I looked up what the name of it was, and now I can't think of it off the top of my head. So I focused on this other side of the project. I worked on stitching Mount Hood, and then I came over and worked on this tree, and I started adding some of the cute little creatures on the tree, and I just love it. I'm just enjoying every stitch of this. I am stitching this on 20 Count Siren Song by Colour&Cotton. It's a really lovely gray, blue, green. It's got a lot of, not like strong modeling, but it's more modeled than a lot of their fabric typically is that I've gotten. Yeah, I'm stitching this with all the called for colors 1/1. And I love it. There's a little hummingbird in here that I haven't done because I think there might be an error on the chart because it looks like it's almost like a teal color. And I think the hummingbird itself is like a green. It is she's got the names on the back. The Calliope hummingbird, which I looked up, and it is like a really bright, like teal color. But more like a green teal. And the color that is on the pattern is like a blue, like a dark blue. So I need to swap it for something else. That's the only reason there's a little gap there, is that I need to figure out a color for the Calliope hummingbird, so that'll look like I think it should look. Yeah, but I'm very excited that all my dreams were achieved.
It looks great. I really like that pattern too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what I'll do this month on it, if I will work on it this month or not. But I'm excited with the progress that I made in April.
So let's see, I have two more. The next one I have is, it's a little bit of one of my older whips. I started this last June. It's called The Lighthouse by White Raven Patterns. I've been missing my I Spy, managing my I Spies, because this one is that is the I Spy water, which there is a little water here, and there's also water on the other side. There's a lot more water on the other side, which I haven't got to yet. But I started this last June. Was it June? We took our cruise. We took our cruise to Alaska last June. I started in Alaska on our cruise. I picked it because it looked like an easy pattern to stitch, but it's also a lot bigger than I realized.
Well, it's full coverage.
Because it's full coverage. But it's been a pretty easy stitch, so it's one of my main travel stitches right now, because it stitches really easily whenever I go, even if I have poor light or whatever. So it's been a lot of fun. I really like how it's looking. She did a really nice job with the color scheme and getting kind of capturing the clouds, and it reminds me a lot of Alaska as well. So this was on 20 Count White Zweigart with the call for DMCs, and I'm just doing it 1/1. So there's one more page after this, so I'm almost at the bottom. I filled in, I think what I've mostly been filling in is this hill. I've been working on this hill over the last month. But I mostly stitch on the weekends when we go to your parents a lot of times. I haven't stitched as much on at home because it's a good travel piece. But that's that. The national parks that I had just shown was actually also part of the I Spy for the earth tones was the thing. So, but yeah, that's that one.
Okay. The next two projects that I did were a part of my WhipGo. I've been participating in WhipGo for the first time this year, and I'm calling mine Whip Snow because everything that I'm working on is a snow friend. And this past month, 2 numbers were called, and I did meet my goal of spending 2 nights on each of those projects. First one that I worked on was Give Greatly by Silver Creek Samplers. And I had barely started this. I started this in December of 2023, and I had only worked on it that one day. So I just had some of the snowflakes and a tiny bit of the Snow Friends hat. And I got a lot of work done on this. And this is what it looks like now. I ended up spending 3 nights on this, and I was able to finish the hat and the Snow Friend's face and started on the scarf. And then I said, well, he needs someone to look at in the project bag while they're just waiting together for me to continue working on it. So I started the little bunny.
So now he's got a little friend to visit.
He's got a friend. So I am stitching this on it was a grab bag mystery linen. I think it's a 40 count from Colour&Cotton, and I'm using the call for threads except for the white. I think it was the recommended color. Because it called for an over-dyed color, but when I looked at it at the store, it was like a gray, which I didn't love. So I'm just using DMC. But it's so cute. Yeah. Now they can be friends in my project bag until they're called again. I think this is on my board 2 more times. And so I think I might be able to finish it this year with those 2.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because that'll be, 4 nights?
Because a lot of this is words, which is going to go fast.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to finish that, I think.
Even if not, it'll be finished next year, which I'm fine with. But I'll get a lot of progress on this year.
Are you doing your 12 Days of Snow Friends again this year or no? Yeah. As if I had to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I do a thing called 12 Days of Snow Friends, which I do the 12 days leading up to Christmas. I start a different Snow Friend pattern each day.
Yeah, I've enjoyed seeing that. I actually joined briefly for on in your...
You did one project.
I did a project, so it counts. So I do have one more whip. This one I was looking forward to a lot. This one is called The Camping Lantern by Heron Elizabeth. So this is the pattern. And it's not going to look too terribly much like this as far as colors go, because I'm changing up a lot on this one. This one took me a long time to figure out before I got started on it, but I love the pattern. I've always loved this pattern, and I decided I was going to swap it out. So this is my color arrangement, which I'll show first. So I did a Colour&Cotton conversion, really alteration, because none of the colors are really quite the same. Just because I'm doing it on a black fabric instead of the lighter fabric, so I had to change everything. And I'll use this. This is what it's looking like so far. So it's looking really good. I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. I think so far the colors look really nice. This is the I think this is this one here. This one is called Bobbins, which this is the tree. And there's some variation on that one. So that's the tree, and then the green is somewhere in here too. This is the green, which is called Boxwood. So I think it's going to look really good with these. I don't know. I thought it would look really good with a black fabric. So it took me a while to figure it out, but I can list these below, or if you're really interested, I can probably you can email us, and I can give you the conversion if you're interested in it. But I really like this one. This was I was really excited to do this pattern. I'm really looking forward to stitching like the fireflies and the mountains. I think it's gonna look really good. So this one is stitched on, I think this is actually on an actual 20 count black Aida, rather than the 18. The other one, the 22 count, was kind of I don't know if it was mislabeled or whatever, but it was much smaller than I thought it was going to be when I started using that fabric. This is a new, I bought a whole yard of black Aida, so, because I stitched a fair bit, and you stitched some on black too, so. But that is one of my whips. I don't think it was a start. It was just more of a continuation this month. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was mostly working on the lantern this month. It's there's a lot of long stitching of the lantern, so it'll go quickly once I get more to the mountains and stuff again. So yeah, that was my last whip.
Okay, the last one I worked on was another one of my Whip Go calls, and that is Merry Friends Towels by Stony Creek. And I am doing this one down here that says Merry Christmas. This was one of my 12 Days of Snow Friends starts this past December 2024. And I'm stitching mine on a shirt. And this is what it's looking like. Oh, yeah. So my goal for this call was to work on the word Christmas. And that is what I did.
It looks really good.
I had a tiny part of the C done beforehand. So the rest of this is all what I've done. I almost got the word done. I spent 3 nights on this because one night I only did like 30 stitches. I wasn't feeling well. But yeah, I am glad I made so much progress on it. This is on my board 2 more times, so I'm hoping I can get it done by December so that I can wear it at Christmas time. But yeah, I'm loving how it's looking. I'm using a 40 count water soluble Aida on a baseball tee.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I look forward to you wearing that.
I know. It'll be cute. It'll be really cute.
So that is all. That's all my whips, and I think that's all your whips.
Yeah.
So, some stitching. Do you have any purchases? I guess is the first question.
I bought those frames at Michael's, and while I was there, I also got a few DMC threads that I needed, and I think maybe that's it. I might purchase something today.
Okay. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to purchase is fine.
We'll show you next time.
So, I don't have any purchases that I know of. So,
your whole Live in LA order came in.
Oh yeah. Oops, I don't have them over here.
Let's go get them.
All right, 1 second. All right, so thank you for reminding me. This came in like just after the last one got finished recording.
Yeah, it was that very week.
It was like that very week. So it's like, I had completely forgotten. So I ordered some fabrics from Live and Die LA. Because
you ordered it back in January.
I ordered it back in January.
Yeah, and it came in the beginning of April.
It came in April, which is not bad, considering they're all custom, custom colored and dyed, hand dyed and all that. So this one is one we've had before that I really like.
But it's different from what we have
before. It's different. So this is called Smack the Jellyfish. It is such a beautiful color. I mean, I do love this particular fabric.
The cut that we had of it before that we've almost finished using was more blue. This one is definitely has more of a green tone.
More of a green tone. This is a beautiful fabric.
Yeah.
I absolutely love
cool.
This one. I don't know what I'll stitch on it yet, but I knew I wanted it. So, so it was ordered and will be... Just such a beautiful color.
These are all 20 count?
These are all 20 count. So that was one of the ones I ordered. Next one is called Celtic Snow, which is like a blue. I don't know if you can not exactly completely blue, but I'll open it up here.
It's like blue green.
Like blue green, grayish. It's got some nice modeling. It doesn't. I don't think that it's washing out a little bit. It's not really.
Oh, it's making it more purple.
It's making it more purple than it really is. It's not at all. Let's see. Is that better?
Let's try bringing it closer.
That's close. No, it's just not quite.
That's more gray. Blues are hard to show up in our videos because of our lighting.
It's more of a blue, but you can see the modeling is really nice on it.
I'll see if I can take a picture of it and insert that and see. Yeah.
That one's not showing up too well, but it's really pretty. It's kind of like a darker.
It's like a dark teal.
Dark teal, yeah. And that is also 20 count. This was one I replaced because I had used it for my forest fairy tale. This one is called California Sage. This is also a 20 count. I just got a quarter. It's also washing it out a little bit, but maybe I go closer. Is that better, you think?
No, it looks more gray.
No, it looks more gray. It's definitely a green. I bought this originally for the Autumn Town by Autumn Lane, I think is it by and which I end up getting that all kitted up, and then I just decided I don't have room this fall for it.
I'm gonna stitch it.
She's gonna be stitching. She's like, if you're not stitching it this fall, I'm stitching it. And so
I said that to her in the last 2 years, and this year's
happening. So because I really want to start the Halloween Quaker one. I'm really excited about that one. So she may or may not stitch on this. She has to think about it, but that's what I bought it to replace was because I used that for the Forest Fairy Tale. And then this other one is going to be used, which I'll talk about the project in my future plans a little bit. This is the Deep, which is another. This is kind of like a purpley.
Yeah, it's like a royal purple blue.
Royal purple blue. It's real pretty. And this is going to be on one of the sales that's starting that I haven't started yet because I'm figuring out the color scheme. But it's just I really like the blue. I needed some good blues like this. And these were two of them that I really liked on their site. So that was my haul. Wasn't really planning on. I didn't have projects planned for them, but I just liked the fabrics. So, that was all my haul. You didn't have a whole lot of hauls, so. So plans or shit? Yeah, plans. Or we used to see kindness.
We got kindness.
All right, so stitching kindness, which I do have a stitching kindness. We're laughing because I've forgotten a few things this time. So this was a project bag that your mom made me. It's really I had mentioned that I needed project
He's
bags.
exceeding his bag.
My projects keep proliferating somehow. I was a monogamous for a long time, and now I'm well over like 13 or 14 projects. So this was a fabric she had. I really like the fabric, and she made it left-handed because I'm a left-handed stitcher, and she's got a really nice polka dot interior. It's a really nice, pretty bag, and I appreciate it. So thank you very much. I appreciate this. This will get a lot of use. It's already being used. I have a couple projects.
Like how we forgot about it.
I've got one of my projects already here. I think this is the sal that I'm going to be starting.
Mm-hmm.
Is already in there, and it might be doubling up with other projects because I just don't have the project bags. But that was my stitching kindness. And
I had some patterns that were passed to me by my mom that she had stitched this last year or 2 years ago. She went through her patterns when she got home from our trip and set these aside for me. So one is "'Tis Spring" by Brenda Gervais. Bloom Chockful by Hands On Design. And then the Seasonal Couriers by Robin Pickens, the spring and summer. I had done the autumn one, but she had both of these, so she finished them recently and passed them along.
And now they'll be stitched.
Yeah, I'm very excited to start these. I'll probably start these this summer. Another thing that was given to me is that if you've been here a while, you know Frosty the Snowman brings a gift at Christmas time. That is something crafty, lightly stitchy. And I showed in my last video a Busilla felt snow friend kit.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm going to do. And it reminded my mom that Frosty had sent something to her 3 years ago, that came late. So Frosty sent another gift in its place, but this has been sitting in my mom's closet.
For a long time?
For a long time because it came late and then she thought of other things and Frosty got me other things. And so me showing that reminded her this was in her closet. Oh. It is another felt kit.
I forgot. I don't even remember that one.
I don't think I showed it to you.
No.
It's a Christmas calendar with these cute snow friends on the top.
Okay, well that'll be happening soon then.
With like these little...
Will this be a December start?
And I don't even know.
Or...
So it's so cute. I don't think I have the name. But it's Feltworks by Dimensions. Oh, Snow Friends Advent Calendar.
I had that.
So it's got all the everything I would need to do it.
So you're all set then.
Yeah, so I'm not sure when I'll do it, when I'll start it, but thanks, Frosty.
Yeah, thank you, Frosty.
It got to me. I will do that sometime.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one. So.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I know Laura, Stitch Mother Shore, and Karen both mentioned us this last.
Yeah, we've done some friend stitching, and it's been wonderful spending time with them.
It has been
this month, and stitching with them, and
you'll be stitching hopefully probably this coming month too. I'm sure. So
yeah.
At some point, Karen and I'd like to do another Zoom with you. So if you have time, sometime in May. I don't know when. We'll see. We may or may not be able to squeeze it in. I know you have lots.
It might just be Michael and you.
It might just be us two, if that's okay too. So, plans and future starts.
Plans for the future.
Do you have lots of plans?
I think I have plans. I probably have less plans than you.
I have a pretty good sizable.
Okay, I'll start with mine then.
Okay.
So the first plans that I have are my WebGo calls for May. Number 5 and number 19 were called. So I pulled those out so they're ready to go. One of those was I Believe in Christmas by Annie B. Folk Art. I started this one in December of 2024 and I worked on it one day and this was as far as I got. I think it was just a really busy day and so I had time for this many stitches.
It's a start. It counts.
Yeah, so I will work on this 2 nights and I'll probably finish it. Because I am leaving off the words, I Believe in Christmas. I'm just doing the snow friend and the garland on the side. So it'll be a fast
stitch.
Yeah, once I do it.
Once you get going on it.
Yeah, so I'll spend 2 nights on that. The other number that was called was Frosty Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. And I'm doing the frill with it. And last time I showed this, when it was called for WhipGo, I finished the frill. So now I can start on the actual Tiny Town part of the pattern. And this is where I'm at on that. As I said, I finished the frill. So now I can start on the rest of the town and get that going. So I'll spend 2 or 3 nights on that and see how far I can get. In the town, another one of my plans is I saw Sarah from Sirious Stitchery and Handmade by Sarah W. and a bunch of their friends. I think Sarah from Sirious Stitchery at, what's that retreat called? Stitch Away? It's the one that's hosted by Keepsakes in the wintertime.
In the wintertime, yeah, I know what you're talking
I think it's Stitch Away. Anyway, she and her table mates at Stitch Away shared their table with the designer of Erica Michaels, and they were inspired to start berry. Her designs are, she's designed a lot of berries. So they thought, well, we've never done that. Let's try that. So that whole table and then their friend Sarah, Handmade by Sarah W, are doing a berry sal in May, and they're calling it May Berry Sal. And the one that Sarah is doing is Birds on Berries, which is one of the ones I picked up when my mom and I did our purchasing last month. So I thought, well, I have that. I could do that. So I pulled together the threads. I only had a few called for, so I kind of went through and pulled some other colors in the place of the ones that I'm missing. And I just need to figure out my fabric situation, and I'll get started on this at some point this month and stitch all these cute bird berries. Yeah, so I'm excited about joining in that stitch along. Also, yeah, looking forward to that. Another thing that so all year long I've been telling myself that in May I'm going to join Manning May, because last year I purchased, sorry, I've got everything shoved into this. Last year I purchased all of the Just Cross Stitch magazine series because I wanted to do the Carolyn Manning Hummingbird Garden.
Oh yeah, I remember that
piece, which was released in the magazine throughout the year. So this, I've been intending since I purchased this to start this in May of this year, and now that May's approaching, I'm like,
May's
here.
May is here. It's not approaching. It's
now,
here.
Well, last week when May was approaching, and I was trying to figure out my plans, I was like, yeah, I should start that. So I might join in Manning May. Fun. I think I picked out a fabric. Oh, I've got 2 fabric options. Just kidding. I've got this 18 count Wild Mint by Atomic Ranch and this 36 count Evergreen Dew by Live and Die LA. So it's kind of like a really light teal. This one's more mottled, but they're very similar in color tone. And these are some of the colors. Some of the rest are in Michael's Bobbin box. So I'm kind of deciding. I'm deciding if I want to stitch on linen or Aida, and if I want more modeling or less modeling.
I mean, I always tend to favor modeling, but I don't.
Yeah. So once I figure that out, I'll get started on this sometime this month with those magazines. I'm going to be doing some traveling, so I know that those 2 things are definite starts, and that my WhipGo things I'm definitely going to focus on, and also the Extraordinary Birds. I would like to get it to a point where I'll be ready to start the drops when I'm able to. But I'm going to be doing some traveling. I'm going to be gone almost half of May, I think.
I think so.
When you add it all together. So initially I had a bunch of plans and like swirling around my head that I was going to do for May, and now I'm just kind of accepting that my plans need to be different. Time. Yeah. And it's not even accepting. It's just like I need to be
acknowledge
nicer to myself.
Yeah. I mean, be realistic about the time you have versus what
realistic. Like I could set all these plans and never do them and not feel guilty about it, but I'd rather set plans that are achievable.
That's a good idea.
So one of the trips I'm taking is to the beach. So I'm thinking about pulling out Coastal Fairy Village by Barbie Pedal Pusher. I'm working on that because it's got cute, springy, beachy vibes. I also am planning on bringing the Believe in Yourself bookmarks. This was gifted to me at Christmas time. And I went through the threads and I pulled out the threads and put them on one of these plastic thread organizers we had purchased a few months ago. so that they're kind of sorted and ready to go. This is stitched on 14 count, these 14 count Aida strips, so I thought that would be really easy for traveling.
Yeah.
That I could stitch on this in a plane or a car or
wherever you have to be.
Next to the pool.
That too.
So this is a possibility. Also, I may bring that Halloween piece that I started because that only uses 2 colors and is on Aida, so that might be easy for stitching. But I'm trying to not like overwhelm myself with plans that I can't achieve this month.
Even if you didn't complete a plan, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. Whatever I work on, I'll enjoy working on. That is my goal, my ultimate goal.
Enjoy what you stitch on.
I may start other things. I might start something for Mother's Day. I might start something.
Follow your heart.
As the mood strikes. But I'm really looking forward to spending time with people that I love and having all kinds of fun adventures. And yeah. It'll be good.
That's more plans than you
There may or may not be stitching. Also, there's going to be kittens. Will the kittens be okay with my stitching? I'm not sure. We'll see.
I think they'll be fine. Just don't bring back a lot of cat dander, please.
I won't. I'm looking forward to stitching in May. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to continue the spring stitching.
You'll have a good time.
Yeah.
So that was actually quite a few plans.
Okay. It didn't feel like as many because I had so many things swirling around in my head.
You had a lot more plans
2 weeks ago.
And then
but then reality kind of.
You reevaluate when you'll actually be home, and you're like, oh
yes,
yeah, I'm gonna
I
be
know.
gone.
I'm only going to be here for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll only have like 2 full weeks that I can focus on stitching, and the rest of the time it'll be kind of whatever stitching I'm able to do. I'll do.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, all right. So my plans in May. Let's see. Where do I want to start? I guess I could start with this. This was probably going to be mentioned later, but so this was. I showed this fabric already, but this was actually for which I don't think
I'll insert a picture.
Yeah, because I don't have anything but the pattern printed out. So yeah, this is for the burrow. What's it called? I have it on here somewhere. The burrow tail sow by Quaternion, and so I think the call for are like a black and there's a red and a green, which I'm not going to do just because I'm being me. I wanted to change the colors up, but this is the fabric I'm going to use, and I'm thinking. I've got these 2 colors here, and I'm going to do one that's called Stardust, which is like a variegated like a green.
It's like a green teal.
Like a green teal. So those are the 3 colors I'm thinking of, and I keep going back and forth if I want to do the main color is orange or the main color is white. So I'm right now I'm at the moment leaning towards white and having this and the green being accent colors, but I've also gone back and forth and saying the orange might also be nice. So I mean, if you guys want to weigh in on that, you can also as well. But I'm definitely changing the colors up for the Sal because I wanted to do a little bit different color scheme. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. This one is called Glow Stick, and then this is Snowflake of these 2 colors here by Colour&Cotton. Which also means I probably need to go up to Colour&Cotton.
Oh darn!
To purchase the colors I need. Oh darn! Because I don't have Stardust, and there may be a few other purchases while we're there. Who knows? So there may be some more haul for me for next video, but that is one of the plans. I do want. Thought I would start it this last month when it started. It was a drop.
Yeah, it started last week.
It started last week, and I just didn't have the colors figured out. And I've gone through a few variations of different themes. I would bring her a few colors like, this is what I'm thinking, and she would start thinking about it. I'd be in like half an hour later. Here's some new color options that I was thinking.
He was pondering colors between meetings last week.
I had a meeting. I'm like, as I was in the meeting, I'm like, well, I could do that. So I after the meeting, I would go pull a few colors. Like, here's some other options I was thinking of, and I'd go to another meeting. And so it was a day of here's different options. I think I'm settled on this theme that I kind of like. So that is one of my plans for this month. That I thought I would already have started, but I didn't start it. But I have some other ones that plans this month as well. So. This next one, since it is May the 4th, I thought I would do a start. It's going to be a start today, so it'll be after the meeting at some point. But this is as the May the 4th. It's a Star Wars. I don't think there's an actual Sal. If there is, and you know about it, let me know because I don't know.
He's starting something today.
I'm starting something today. This is a Spaceballs the cross stitch pattern that I found. This is just the actual stitch. This is not the actual pattern, so I feel like I can actually show this one. So this is just called Spaceballs the cross stitch by who was it? By Hornswoggle. I'm going to do this on the 20 count Black Aida, doing it 1/1 with the call for DMCs. I don't think this will be a terribly hard stitch, but I wanted to do something Star Warsy, but I grew up watching Spaceballs and wore out a VHS tape watching it growing up. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you at all. So that is one of my plans for today. It's going to be starting today. If you have a Star Wars pattern that you want to start, feel free. I don't think there's an actual Sal, but
I mean, our friends won't see this until tomorrow at the earliest.
Yeah, well, that's true. So, so that if they're going to start on May the 4th, they're already starting it. So, but it is May the 4th, so I thought I would start on that, and then I have some other things. So, one of the other things, our friends Laura from Stitching on the Shore, I know she mentioned a gnome Sal of some kind. I cannot remember. I thought there was a hashtag.
We watched Friday night.
We watched it. I remember her mentioning like a salad that she's going to do with gnomes, but I don't remember if the hashtag, what the name of it was. So Laura, if you can let me know, certainly, because I want to get that correct. And but I was like, well, I could probably find a gnome pattern.
As we were watching Laura, I see him scrolling on his phone.
I'm scrolling on my phone. I was like, I could probably find a gnome, and I did find a gnome pattern that I want to do. So this one is called Gandalf Gnome, which fits my love of Lord of the Rings as well. He's a super cute Gandalf gnome. This one is by X Stitch Heroes, just called Gandalf Gnome PK. And then I don't know what Aida I'm going to be stitching on yet. I haven't decided.
Got options.
I have options, so I'll figure that out. But I'm just going to use the call for as doing 1/1. We'll call for DMCs. So I'll be joining that Sal, Laura. Don't really know, didn't really plan on it, but it's like, it sounded like a fun stitch along. Mm-hmm. So, or Sal. So like that one, I can do. I can find a pattern of that. So that was one of my other plans. And then I know in the past I had mentioned a Snoopy Sal that I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm going to be gone. Kind of the first
part of it.
First part of June, so we won't be back to film again until the second weekend in June.
Yeah, and but I'm going to be starting on June 1st.
So Michael wanted to be sure to talk about it in this video if you want to start along with him.
Yeah, if you want to start along, I'm calling it the Summer Snoopy Sal. That's the hashtag if you're interested in joining me. I have a whole bunch of Snoopy patterns, thanks to Frosty and I think your mom as well. So I'm going to do at least a couple of them. Probably more. I have some ornament ones too that I forgot that they're also in there, but that's not a big deal. Because those are some of the ones I'm going to stitch. But I'm going to do one from this book. I'm going to do the football one here. Trying to get it so it shows the pattern but doesn't glare. Okay, so that's the one of the ones I'm going to start. I don't know if that'll be the first one I start or not. But I'm going to change the helmets out to be 49er helmets because I'm a 49er fan and it seemed like a fun thing to do. So there'll be a little bit of color changing on this one, but I think that'll be a fun one to have. Have it going in the summer. And I also have this cross stitch book here, which is just Peanuts and Cross Stitch. The other one was just called Sports. I don't think it had an official name for that pattern set. But I'm gonna do. I've done some other ones from here. I know I did the cup with Snoopy and him on his. I did this one on the cup, but I'm gonna do. I wanted to do try a clothing one like you're doing. So I decided to do. I'm gonna do this apron one. It just says "Kiss the Chef." I think that's what it says. Kiss the Cook. And it's got Snoopy. So I just like it. I'll figure out. I have to find an apron to stitch it on. So I guess I have to do that before. That might be a July start at some point. The other one I might start the other one because this one I'll have to find the actual apron, which may or may not be trickier than I don't really know.
We'll find it.
But so that's one of the ones. I know there's some other patterns in here I might also be interested in doing. I do like the one with him on the chair. And like I said, I have a couple other Christmassy ornaments.
Oh, that's right. Snoopy. You started those back in December.
Yeah, that was
January.
I started, and that was an older kit. I forget what the company was. So it's a pretty common one, but it was from like the 90s. And so I'm going to do. There's at least two more ornaments that I can do from that. So I'll probably be doing some of those. So if you're interested in joining me for this Summer Snoopy Sal, just let me know. I'm on Instagram now, which is Great Tree Games is my account. So yeah, that was the other part of my summer plans. I guess I didn't have as many plans as you did, but it felt like a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm also doing Laura's May I Spy.
The I Spy
that did drop, so I had to figure those out as well. And I'll be continuing some of the other things I've been stitching on as well, trying to make some more progress on these patterns. I probably will start another park this month as well. So yeah, those are some of my future plans. I'm obviously open up to new sales if it strikes me. I started as a monogamous stitcher, and I think I'm rapidly going closer and closter to 20 whips. So I think with some of these new ones I'll probably be at like 15 or 16. And not finishing as many as quickly. So I'm fine with that, whatever. I'm just enjoying stitching, so but it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I've gone a long way from being monogamous. I know I also have some ideas, but those were fall plans. I'm thinking of starting my my first pattern that I ever did was the one from Howl's Moving Castle, the Castle Fur one. I'm thinking I might start that one again this fall, so and get that stitched again. But I think that's it for me. So that's all you have to do?
My pile is empty.
My pile is empty finally. So if you stayed with us this long, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. And we are going to get ready to transition to our gaming section, which is not very big today. But if you're not staying with us for that, because that's not your thing, that's fine. We do appreciate you being here with us and enjoying this wonderful hobby together. So,
as we said, we'll be back probably the second full week in June.
Yeah, the second full week because you'll be gone.
So don't fret or frown.
Yes.
If we're not here right away.
We usually release the first month, but it's just circumstances are allowing us to record that weekend. So, but yeah.
We hope that you're well until then. We hope that you take care of yourself and do the things that you love.
With the people you love. And we will see you again soon. If you are new and did like what you see, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're staying with us, we will be back with you momentarily. Okay, grab the game and we'll record it, and then we'll record it, and then we'll head off to eat some lunch because we're both hungry. Everyone needs to eat. Everyone needs to eat. All right, we are back with our gaming stuff. For those of you who are new and are familiar with what we do, we typically will talk a little bit about our overview of what we played over the last month, just to give you an overview of some of the games we played. And then we usually only talk about games we played 4 or more times over the course of a month, just to keep it a little bit more within reason. Otherwise, we'd be talking about dozens of games. And if it's something we've already talked about, we'll try to mention if we can remember what video that was in. If not, so this month we did have at least a somewhat busy gaming month.
We played some games.
So what did we play this month?
Well, instead of having a game day with our friends, we got together with them for dinner one night and just played a couple of games after dinner. And during that time, we played 4 games of Mantis and 1 of Ticket to Ride. With my dad, over the course of the month, we played 1 game each of The Gardens, Forest Shuffle, and Draft and Write Records, and then we played 3 games of Uno.
Yes.
There was one day that my brother and Michael both had off work.
We did,
and my sister-in-law. I think it must have been the day after Easter.
I think it was the day after Easter.
Yeah, they were all off work, so we decided to play some games on Board Game Arena. So we played 1 game each of Takenoko, Potion Explosion, and King Domino, and 2 of Can't Stop. Before we knew that they were going to be online, Michael and I also played a couple of games on there. We played 2 games of Planet Unknown and 1 of Can't Stop. Yeah. And then the games that Michael and I played ourselves over the month, we played 2 games each of Trekking Through History, Trailblazers, and Earth. 3 games of Twice as Clever, 4 of Draft and Write Records, and 6 of Wingspan.
Not surprising there.
Yeah. We needed some comfort gaming.
Yeah. So of the games we played over the last month.
Yeah, there's 3 that we played 4 more times. One of those was Mantis, which we talked about more in detail in video number 17. Wingspan, which we talked about in more detail in video number 5. And then Draft and Write Records, which we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, this is one of your newer games.
Yeah. So here's Draft and Write Records. This is a game that I got to try out at Gen Con in 2024. Yes, this past year.
Yeah.
2024. While Micah was doing an RPG, I got to try this out with some strangers, and it was really great. I enjoyed it a lot. I knew it was the kind of game that we like playing. It is a draft and write game. It's right there in the name. So you're drafting cards and then writing things down on a piece of paper. So I had backed the expansion to Earth.
Which is part of the reason we played Earth this month.
Right. And so when I was placing the order for that, I saw that they also had this available because at Gen Con they ran out.
Yeah.
After I had tried it and was like, ooh, maybe we need this. So they had it as an add-on that you could add on to the order of the new expansion for Earth. And so I added it on and it came earlier this month. So we've had a lot of fun trying it out and playing it. In the game Draft and Write Records, you are kind of leading a band.
Yeah, you're kind of leading a band. You're organizing a band.
Organizing, that's a good word to use. So you have a sheet of paper that kind of represents everything involved in organizing your band. There's a space for you to keep track of your tour. There's a space for you to keep track of the members of the band and the harmony that they have together. There's an area for different engagements you're making and social media.
Albums, singles sold. And
And then, it's just you're kind of gradually building your band and
your support crew and your, all those things. All the things that make a band successful.
Right. So each round you have a hand of 5 cards. You're choosing one of those cards, filling whatever it is out on your board, and then passing the cards to your neighbor. So it's kind of, you go round and round. And then at the end of the round, it's called the weekend phase, and you're trying to score cards that are in the center that have different objectives you're trying to meet with the things that you're putting on your board.
Yep. And so once that person either completes all the total objectives they can, there's those spaces at the top you fill your points for as you complete them. Once that's all filled, or you fill all of your band members out, that's a trigger for the end.
Or someone's got a lot of bad press.
Oh, someone has a lot of bad press. That's also another trigger. If they have maxed out your bad press, because you get negative points for that. That will trigger the end of the game. And if you're missing band members by the end of the game, you also get negative points. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But it's a huge amount of fun. There's a lot of fun trying to figure out getting your synergies and harmonies, because you get bonus things to do when you complete a good synergy.
Yeah, every member of your band has 4 different spots around a number. And those 4 spots have a different color or symbol. And you're trying to match those to the neighboring people in the band.
And that creates harmonies.
Right, which lets you cross something else off, which lets you get something else.
Because if you're familiar with a lot of different roll and write games, there's lots of things that you can chain together. Like this will allow you to do this, which lets you do this, and so you're trying to do as many of those types of things in the game as you can. And there's a lot of different ways of scoring in the game, and so you kind of have to figure out what approach you're going to take to scoring.
You also can't do everything, so
you can't. You try to do everything, you're going to fail horribly, which I've done at times. So you have to choose what you're going to focus on and try to complete that strategy, whatever it is you're doing. So. But I really enjoyed the game a lot.
Yeah, we both really enjoyed playing it. I'm so excited that a game that I thought that we would like turned out to be something that we did really like together.
Yeah, it was pretty easy for me to pick up too, I will say.
I think because we played so many of this style of game, a lot of it was intuitive. I know I had that experience at Gen Con when I was learning the game. I was kind of the first one in the group to pick it up, so I was kind of helping to explain it to the other people there. I think that's because we played so many of this style of game, it's easier for us to kind of pick up.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with this kind of game, would you say it's difficult to pick up?
I don't think so. I'm sure because it's over a year old now, I think there's probably a lot of people who have played it online who have better explanations of it, or more in-depth explanations.
A lot of good support online.
How to play it, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the game, but that was the game we played 4 more times. It was a lot of fun. If you're into roll and write or want to try them out, it might be good one to start with.
Yeah, and I've played it a bunch on Board Game Arena last year, and I really enjoyed that. They have a good implementation of it on there.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Board Game Arena, it's an online site that you can play a lot of different games on. And so there's a lot of ones you can play for free on there as well. That's not just a paid.
Yeah, I don't remember if this one was paid or not.
I don't know. But there are some you have to pay a subscription to. But there's a lot of them for free on there. So if you're interested in a game, you might check out a site like that. There's other ones besides Board Game Arena as well.
And it's a game that you can play with 1 to 6 players. So I've never tried the solo variant of it, but maybe I will at some point.
You try out more of the solo ones than I do usually.
Yeah.
Mostly, I guess, because you have more time. Solo.
I do have more time.
So yeah, I think that's it for our games section.
That's it.
We'll have a lot more this next month to talk about in games.
Yeah, we are going to Geekway, which is a gaming convention that's held in St. Charles, Missouri. We're very excited. We're going with our friends that we have game days with.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. It's our first time going to this one, so we'll have lots to talk about with that, and there'll be lots of new games I'm sure we'll be trying. Yeah. And so, yeah, that'll be exciting. Something to talk about this month. And we might talk a little bit over the next month about Gen Con plans a little bit in the next one, because I know we're...
Yeah, the event catalog is...
It's dropping today.
Dropping today.
Up, and then I think the actual registration for that is in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
So we'll probably talk a little bit about that as well, if you're interested in that kind of thing. But yeah, this was a fun month of gaming. Not quite as extensive as some. We had a lot of good gaming in there.
Yeah, we had a lot of gaming, and we had a lot of gaming just the two of us.
Just the two of us,
which was nice.
So
I feel like because the light is out later,
yeah,
we have a little bit more energy after dinner time. We've kind of been playing a game before we settle in for stitching.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing during spring and summer, and especially early fall, when we have a lot more light. If we feel more like doing something,
especially depending on what we're eating for dinner. If there's something in the crock pot, we can just let that finish cooking while we play a game, and then
or leftovers or whatever. Which we've been doing more of lately.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for our video today.
Yeah.
If you stay with us this long, thank you for staying with us and being a part of our community. We really appreciate you guys. This has been just a wonderful experience for both of us. But we hope you have a good month of May and enjoy doing whatever plans and doing the things you love with the people you love over this next month. And we, like I said, we will be about a week late for the next video because she'll be out. But so don't panic if we aren't right there. But we hope you have a good time this month, and we will see you in about a month.
Yeah, we love you.
Love you.
Bye.